So communication was basically, as we've been saying, by word of mouth, with
Yes.
neighbors, with friends, through the newspaper. How about the movies? Would you consider that a form of communication?
When we were afforded the money to do it, which was a dime, of course, at the time, we went to the movies, but not too much. You saw the movie, you really didn't get the information that was required for yourself at that age, you know. And no, not really. And you had to work for that dime too.
Yeah, and it was the newsreels that they had at the
Right,
movies. Do you
yes.
remember that? Yeah.
Pathé News.
Yes.
hmm It was stale, I mean, but we all look forward to seeing the news
But
in
that
a
was
picture.
later, after the talkies came, because there, from the start, it was silent
Silent.
movies. And you had to read the,
Yeah.
underneath the script, what they were saying.
Mhm.
Of course, we didn't get a chance to go to the movies. My mom and dad didn't think that that was the right thing for young children to do, to go to movies. I think my first movie was with Al Jolson. His first, when the first movie came out with the talkies.
Okay, I think that was a jazz singer, probably. Yeah. So all of these things were means of communication. What do you think about communication today? I mean, are you up on what the teenagers are doing today?
I think there's too much of it. Too much communication. People are voicing every little thing they think of. You know, I feel that it's just too much, but I guess you learn a lot of things by listening. And then again, I'm not for all the communication that we have today, but most of it I approve of course.
Well, do you think it's good or bad to have the TV, the cell phones, the Blackberries, all these other modern
I
ways
think
of
that during our time, being with neighbors and people was very close. And now we sit with the TV, we don't know our neighbors, we don't know people around us. I think that during our era, we were very social. And today, we're listening to all these things and we have no time for other people.
And I find that when I go shopping, I think at least more than half have the cell phones to their ears. And they're usually asking questions that you wouldn't even think of asking in a store. I just don't approve of that, that's all. But I mean, it's for a good cause too, you know, there comes good out of it. But it's advancement, that's what it is.
Well, Ralph Waldo Emerson said that things are going to change whether we like it or
Right.
not. And when we think of today, what is the modern communication, which probably many of us are alien to, this is only a stepping stone to what is to come. And I think we're living in an age of enjoyment, of enlightenment, but also one of fear. Do you fear the communication today? How do you feel, Alice, about that?
Well, I don't know. I don't really fear it. I really relish anything that comes in new. And if we can advance ourselves, and we got to go forward, we can't keep going backward. And so far, I think that everything is, I know there'll be a lot of things after I leave that they're going to put into play where it'll be beneficial. But right now, I'm very happy as it is.
How about you, Julia?
I think it's taking over society a little too much. You hear of the new, every day someone is inventing something new. I don't know, I think that's just too much for society. I don't think we're going to be able to handle all this change.
But it's going to happen whether
Sure
we
it
want
will.
it to or not.
But-
It's a fact of life.
Yes, it is, but
But I
Can-
think it's encouraging the youngsters to speak of things that they shouldn't be speaking of. But I mean, the thing is, there's no self-respect when it comes to what you say. And I listen to my grandchildren, and they're wonderful, wonderful children, well brought up. But their idea of conversation is far beyond my likes.
And the old adage of children should be seen but not heard is no longer in existence.
No longer at all. And do you remember when we used to be mother and dad and grandma and grandpa first to sit at the table and eat? It's no longer like that. Now it's the children first and then the adults, you know. Well, I suppose it has its purpose too. They get rid of the children.
And then you can sit down and enjoy and
you can
talk.
sit down and eat in peace, I suppose.
Right. Well,
It
Helen,
has,
how do you
know,
feel?
everything has a good side and bad side to it, you know. But let's face it, it's going to be.
Well, Helen, what do you think?
Oh, some of the things really make you feel bad when you hear the way they talk. But then you just, even your books, when you read, I mean, some of those words they put in that
Right.
don't add to the story at all, but it's in there.
You've mentioned that before, yes.
Well, my grandson always says, Graham, that's the old days. That's way back. And I said, yes, but how do you get your knowledge? You get your knowledge from the information that comes from way back. You read your books. That's all been written years and years ago, and you're learning from that. But you see, the TV has so much to do with their thoughts on this, you know.
Well, how many would like to have a BlackBerry for Christmas?
I
wouldn't
would.
know what to do.
I would. I'd like to know more in
No.
advance as long as I'm here. I'd like to know what's coming up and be with it. And my children push me to all the new things that come out. They don't want me to just sit there without a computer or anything. And I think it's good because then when you're speaking to somebody and they talk about it, you know, you can relate to it. And I'm all for advancement. And I would, even if I pass, I'd like to be a mouse in a corner to see what else that's new coming up. I would really,
Right.
yeah.